Making headlines this hour, a national workshop is launched to work on a new national disaster management plan. High Court says that it had received a record number of cases during this year. And Russian President says that the murder of Andrei Karlov is obviously a provocation designed to spoil normalization of Russia-Turkey relations.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You are watching TVM News in English. I'm Zunat Hassan here with the news in details. A national workshop is launched to work on a new national disaster plan. The two-day workshop being held in Banos, Maldives is attended by various stakeholders. The workshop was inaugurated by the Defence Minister and National Security Adam Sharif Umar. Speaking in the inauguration ceremony of the workshop, Minister Sharif said that such a workshop is important for an island nation like the Maldives and emphasized that discussions would enlighten new methods to tackle a calamity. The National Disaster Management Center said that the stakeholders aim to compile a draft of a 5-year national plan by the end of the workshop. The center also revealed that the goal is to implement the plan next year. The workshop is held in partnership with UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific ESCAP. Environment Minister Tariq Ibrahim says that their target is to achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals SDGs by 2030. Minister made the remarks while speaking at a seminar held among organizations and government authorities to discuss ways to implement SDGs held today at Central Hotel. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals SDGs of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development adopted by world leaders in September 2015 at the historic UN Summit. Speaking during the opening of the summit, Minister Tariq said that the government aims to achieve all of the 17 SDGs by 2030. Minister said they are now drafting the national report for the SDG high-level forum to be held in July 2017. He noted that the biggest obstacle facing the achievement of SDGs is climate change, which directly hinders developmental efforts. He added that the SDGs aim to ensure participation and equal rights of all citizens. High Court says that it received a record number of cases during this year. According to statistics, there were over 500 cases submitted to the High Court this calendar year.
Majority of cases submitted at High Court are appeal cases submitted following verdicts issued by lower courts. The rest are cases which fall under the jurisdiction of the court as per the Constitution. High Court statistics shows a notable increase in the number of constitutional cases submitted to the court this year compared to any other year. The court attributes this increase to establishment of its branches in the north and south of the country. According to the statistics of the court, by October, the court received over 500 cases, which is the first time such a large number of cases were registered at the court. This statistic shows that the court received 187 criminal cases and 271 civil cases. Furthermore, High Court also received 18 family cases, 32 cases relating to employment issues, and 21 monicum requests and 2 constitutional cases. Chief Justice had revealed that establishment of High Court branches in north and south of the tolls has increased appeal submissions registered at their court, which eases the process for citizens. Branches of High Courts are being established across the country to ensure all citizens are given equal opportunity to seek legal backing for their needs.
Minister of Environment and Energy Tariq Ibrahim launches the Energy Policy and Strategy and Island Electricity Data Book. The Island Electricity Data 2016 was launched in a ceremony held at Stelco and was also attended by senior officials from relevant government organizations. Island Electricity Data 2016 is a compilation of electricity data of the Maldives Islands. In addition to island electricity data for each inhabitant island of the Maldives, the book also shows the growth of solar PV in the Maldives. Previously, the first electricity data book was published by Ministry of Environment and Energy in 2013 with the title Maldives Energy Outlook for Inhabited Islands 2013. According to the statistics of Island Electricity Data 2016, 506,334 metric tons of fuel was imported in 2015. The data also shows that inhabited islands of the Maldives have consumed a total of 551 gigawatt hours, and capital Male accounts for 56% of the total electricity generated. Moreover, growth achievements and researches done on renewable energy field in the past 10 years is also included in the data book. Maldives Energy Policy and Strategy 2016 features the 5 main policies of the energy sector and strategies to achieve them. The policies include strengthening the institutional capacity and regulatory framework of the energy sector, promoting energy conservation and efficiency, promoting renewable energy technologies, improving the reliability and sustainability of electricity service, and to increase national energy security. Excel Energy Drink reveals that customized cans will be launched in February 2017. The sales executive of Excel said that image of Laisha Junaid, the winner of the first season of the franchise reality show Maldivian Idol, would be printed on the customized cans. He also said that the Excel cans will be displayed on the judges' table starting from the first episode of the second season. Excel was also the beverage partner of Maldivian Idol Season 1, aired on TVM.
On behalf of Excel Energy Drink Company, we promise to support the idol with the customized can with her image on it. And today is the day, so we would like proudly announce these new cans to be released very soon, to be available on the market in February. And during the show on the judges' table, starting from the very first episode in January.
Italy's government has said it will seek parliamentary approval to hike national debt by up to 20 billion euros to cover an eventual operation to stabilize the banking system. And now we look into the latest news updates from international arena. Russian President Vladimir Putin says that the murder of Andrei Karlov is obviously a provocation designed to spoil normalization of Russia-Turkey relations.
Russian President Vladimir Putin held a special meeting in the Kremlin to discuss the murder of Russian ambassador to Turkey, Andrei Karlov. In the meeting, Putin also said that the murder is a provocation to derail the peace process in Syria, which is actively promoted by Russia, Turkey, Iran and other countries interested in the reconcilement of inter-Syria conflict. Putin also said he had a telephone conversation with Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan. Erdogan earlier said he had agreed with Putin that their cooperation and solidarity in fighting terrorism should be even stronger after the killing of Karlov. Erdogan called the killing a clear provocation aimed at damaging relation between Turkey and Russia at a time of normalization. The meeting in the Kremlin was attended by Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, head of Russian Federal Security Service and head of Foreign Intelligence Service. Putin said the fight against terrorism will be ramped up. He also said Russian investigators have opened a criminal case into the killing and will try to travel to Turkey. A Russian foreign ministry spokeswoman confirmed the death of envoy, which marked one of the most serious spillovers of the Syria conflict into Turkey. Russia is a close ally of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, and its air strikes were instrumental in helping Syrian forces end rebel resistance last week in the northern city of Aleppo. The Anadolu news agency said the gunmen had been neutralized soon after the attack. Relations between Moscow and Ankara have long been fraught over conflict, with the two supporting opposing sides.
Truck plows into Berlin Christmas market, killing 12 people and injuring 48. We take a closer look.
The truck which plowed into a Christmas market in Berlin on Monday evening, killing 12 people and injuring 48, was removed from the site on Tuesday morning. Berlin police said on Tuesday that investigators assumed the driver of the truck did so intentionally in a suspected terrorist attack. The truck crashed into people gathered around wooden huts serving mulled wine and sausages at the foot of the Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church, which was left as a ruin after World War II in the heart of former West Berlin on Monday evening. The incident evoked memories of an attack in Nice, France in July when a Tunisian-born man drove a 19-ton truck along the beachfront, moving down the people who had gathered to watch the fireworks on Bastille Day, killing 86 people. That attack was claimed by Islamic State. Interior Minister Thomas de Maizière had previously said there were indications that the incident in Berlin was an attack.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says no quarter should be given to terrorists in Syria after the murder of Russia's envoy to Turkey, Andrei Karlov. In opening comments before meeting Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu in Russia, Lavrov said Karlov's assassination made dialogue between Ankara and Moscow more timely. Lavrov also said Russia was grateful to Turkey for its quick reaction to the killing. Karlov died after a gunman shot him in the back as he gave a speech at an Ankara art gallery on Monday. Swiss police says an attack on Zurich mosque has injured 3 people. 2 of the 3 men, aged 30, 35 and 56, were seriously injured in the attack shortly after 16:30 GMT near the main train station in Switzerland's financial capital, and a third sustained less severe injuries, Zurich police said. Officials declined to comment on the potential motive as they were still collecting evidence inside the building late in the night. The unidentified suspect, a man around 30 years old who, according to witnesses, was wearing dark clothing and a dark wool cap, fled the mosque, police said. They added that a body was found nearby but would not comment on whether it might have any link to the shootings. The police said they would make more details available on Tuesday. People at the scene told Reuters the Islamic center in Zurich's Esser Gezer was used as a mosque often by Somalis. A Somali who said he was a regular worshipper at the center that attracted Muslims from around the world. He said he knew the 3 victims and that they were also Somalis. 2/3 of Switzerland's 8.3 million residents identify as Christian, but the nation has been wrestling with the role of Islam as its Muslim population has risen to 5%, swelled by the arrival of immigrants from the former Yugoslavia. Thousands of Fijians sheltered in evacuation centers and tents as heavy rain and floods cut roads, covered sugarcane fields and caused landslides, said the South Pacific Nations Disaster Office. Across the archipelago nation, 1,716 people sought refuge in 46 evacuation centers and another 1,817 were living in tents, National Disaster Management Office Director Akapusi Tuifagale told local media. A flooded river in the town of Nausori caused havoc for locals in video clips obtained by Reuters. The main road joining the capital Suva with Fiji's international airport at Nadi was cut by floodwaters, a spokeswoman at Suva police station told Reuters. Fiji's meteorological service said in a bulletin that the tropical depression driving the rain was now weakening. The worst hit areas in western Fiji were still recovering from February's devastating cyclone Winston, aid worker Peter Agasa, Care Australia's emergency response manager. Winston was the worst storm ever recorded in the southern hemisphere. It killed 43 people in Fiji and left tens of thousands of people homeless. Cyclones typically sweep through the tropical Pacific between November and April, with the peak season between January and March. This season, Fiji's Weather Bureau expects elevated cyclone activity in the region and predicts 3 cyclones to hit the archipelago. India urges the United Nations, UN and the international community to take stringent actions against Shadowi supporters who aid militant outfits perpetrating violence in Afghanistan. India's permanent representative at the UN, Saeed Akbaruddin, told United Nations Security Council that efforts to rebuild Afghanistan by countries were being undermined as schools and places of worship were being targeted by militants with outside help. Violence has spread across Afghanistan, and the Taliban's ability to conduct coordinated high-profile attacks in the capital, Kabul, has piled pressure on President Ashraf Ghani's Western-backed government to provide better security to the war-weary people. The Indian envoy said that sustainable peace could be brought to Afghanistan by denying safe havens to the militant groups in its neighborhood. Ghani, at a conference in India earlier this month, said the Taliban insurgency would not survive a month if it lost its sanctuary in neighboring Pakistan, urging its neighbors to take on the militant groups on its soil instead of giving Kabul financial aid. Afghanistan's ties with Pakistan have been strained after a series of violent attacks, several in the capital, Kabul. China's foreign ministry says U.S. criticism of the drone issue is unreasonable after China returned an underwater U.S. drone taken by a Chinese naval vessel in the South China Sea.
China's foreign ministry said on Tuesday that U.S. criticism of the drone issue is unreasonable after China returned an underwater U.S. drone taken by a Chinese naval vessel last week in the South China Sea. The taking of the unmanned underwater vehicle in international waters near the Philippines triggered a diplomatic protest and speculation about whether it would strengthen U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's hand as he seeks a tougher line with China. A Chinese naval ship took the drone, which the Pentagon says uses unclassified commercially available technology to collect oceanographic data, on Thursday, about 50 nautical miles northwest of Subic Bay in the Philippines. China's defense ministry said in a brief statement the drone had been given back to the United States earlier on Tuesday. The Pentagon said the vehicle had been handed over to the guided missile destroyer USS Mustang near where it had been unlawfully seized. It called on China to comply with international law and refrain from further efforts to impede lawful U.S. activities. This seizure had added to U.S. concern about China's growing military presence and aggressive posture in the disputed South China Sea, including its militarization of maritime outposts.
Tonight in sports, injured Manchester City defender Pablo Zabaleta is targeting a return to full fitness in time for his team trip to play second-place Liverpool in the Premier League on December 31st. The Argentine international was taken off at half-time during his team's 2-1 home over Arsenal on Sunday with a knee injury and has ruled himself out of the trip to Hull City on December 26th. Having racked up consecutive home wins in the league for the first time since August, Zabaleta believes third-place City must keep stringing together wins to put pressure on leaders Chelsea, who are 7 points ahead of them. With that, we conclude the news for this evening. Thank you for being with us. Good night and bye-bye.